This April is a super busy month of a lot of planets going from retrograde to direct, and with the fact that we're also exiting eclipse season, this is really the month where things start happening and you start moving forward with your new priorities. So if you are excited to dive into what the astrology has in store for you this April, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. Hi, I'm Maren. I make videos on astrology. I also make music, and you can check out everything I have to offer in the description below. I also have content that you can get on passes, like courses or other astrology material if you're interested. And I offer private readings. I get questions about that all the time. You can find the link down below somewhere. So we're starting off this month on April 3rd with Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces. Venus is retrograde for the first half of this month, pretty much. So Venus retrograde means that we're returning, revising, or revisiting our values that we were previously pretty set on earlier this year. This is specifically showing that we are returning to where Venus was in February. So people, situations, things that were valuable to you in February are probably things that you're revisiting or revising during this first part of April. And I do have a full video up about Venus retrograde if you do want to see that and learn all about what that means if you're watching this while we're still in Venus retrograde. Then on the 4th, Mars in Cancer is going to trine Saturn and Pisces. Whenever Mars and Saturn are trine, it's a good time to work on things and get shit going. Mars is direct in Cancer at this point. It has been for quite a few weeks now, meaning that it's really the time to move forward with goals, with taking risks on what we're working on, and with putting effort into our projects. And it's good for long-standing little by little effort for things that are a big job or a big task. It's a good energy around this to put in that effort slowly and steadily. Then on the 7th, Venus is going to conjoin Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is a planet of seriousness and maturity. So with Venus retrograde crossing Saturn, this is a reality check first week. This is a time of getting really serious, getting really honest, and making the more conservative adult decisions around relationships that you have to go back and do now because you didn't earlier on, essentially. On the 7th as well, Mercury is going to station direct in Pisces. This is great because it shows communication is going to be moving forward more easily. This is the first planet out of several that's going to be turning direct this month. So with Mercury direct, it's going to be easier to make plans, travel, communicate, and overall move forward with things throughout this April, specifically the second half as we get out of Mercury's shadow. On the 12th, the Sun is going to conjoin Chiron in Aries. So I don't usually bring up Chiron unless it's really specifically activated by a conjunction, but Chiron is an asteroid that's usually activated or usually kind of bringing in a meaning of feeling insecure, feeling a little bit sensitive, or feeling triggered because of an insecurity or lack thereof that you feel you have. It's kind of like your Achilles heel or your soft spot where you know someone can get you because you are openly just kind of sensitive or insecure about that. The Sun conjunct that can mean that the middle of this month around the 12th, big, like insecure, triggered, touchy energy, really touchy. It can be really emotional. It can also be a good opportunity to see where you need to, stop being so sensitive about something. If you need to stop, depends. Then on the 13th, there is a full moon in Libra. This full moon is an ending that has to do with codependent or unhealthy relationship dynamics coming to a close. So you could see that you are letting go of kind of a relationship or a dependency in an area of your life where it's gotten unhealthy and you want to choose yourself and your own values because it's just getting unhealthy and painful. On the 13th, Venus is going to station direct in Pisces. So after a long Venus retrograde, Venus is direct for the second half of this April, showing that you're moving forward with new future-oriented decisions in relationships. Done fixing, done ruminating, done rethinking or revising the past, now focused on what you newly want and what you're newly realizing. So it's still going to be slow over the middle of this April. You're just going to slowly kind of start having new priorities, but it does show that any of the things that are up in the air, confusing, or you are working out, they're really going to be resolving throughout the rest of this April as you move forward with new relationship priorities, decisions, and situations. On the 14th, Saturn is going to conjoin the North Node in Pisces. So Saturn being maturity and being boundaries and more like conservative adult energy, conjunct the North Node shows that it being exacerbated or that is being enhanced a ton. Saturn on the North Node, and now Venus, direct around that as well, honestly, shows that you're committing to very serious, very strong priorities that are not bullshit. They are not a joke. They are not immature. You're choosing maturity, responsibility, and a huge long-term commitment commitment as what you are agreeing to with your new values and new decisions. On the 17th, Mercury is going to conjoin Neptune, so just be aware that during that time, it could be a situation where you are either speaking or writing in a very creative way. This is not a great energy for anything too direct or literal or like contracts. This is creative writing, creative speaking. So if you're working on anything like music or anything fantasy related, around the 17th is a great time for that. And then on the 18th, Mars is going to enter Leo. So after being in Cancer for the past few months, Mars entering Leo is showing that Cancer placements are left alone. They have a lot easier time. They're not going to have that reactivation of trauma over and over again. Mars in Leo is more about solving problems dramatically, performatively, with more lighthearted, less personal, more theatrical energy. I have Mars in Leo, so I understand that this transit is probably one of a little bit more drama, but less touchiness. Like it's all the tea, but not as many tears. That's actually, it goes from like tears to tea, from Cancer to Leo. That's actually good. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, I'm being ridiculous. All the Leo. On the 19th, then the Sun enters Taurus. So once the Sun enters Taurus, it's more grounded energy from the 19th onward. I'm moving from a ton of Pisces and Aries energy into more Taurus energy, more grounded, more realistic. We're ready to hit the ground moving in the last week or so. On the 20th, Venus is going to cross the North Node, now direct in Pisces again. So we, as I said, with Saturn there and everything, we're recommitting to new values and relationships that are very serious, mature, and like the utmost honest, real shit version of the choices you have. This is not, playing around. This is not escaping. This is not the fun choice. This is the serious adult choice that you're making with relationships, values, and priorities. On the 25th, Venus is joining Saturn as well. So it's just further enhancing the seriousness, the maturity, the boundaries that you're upholding and how you're enacting your values. And we're ending the month on the 27th with a new moon in Taurus. So this moon is a little bit aggressive and challenging. It's in a T-square with Mars opposite Pluto, showing that you could feel as if you're being manipulated or going up against someone who wants to use or control you, and you were trying to make a stable new beginning amidst that energy. So if you feel like you're caught amidst different wheels or different intentions around you and you were just trying to like get on with your priorities, I wouldn't be surprised that this is a more challenging new moon at the end of this month. Not telling you not to start anything, but don't be surprised that it comes with complications of feeling manipulated and not sure which side to trust in the midst of this. Just stay in the most solitary, like your own vibe that you can during that. We end the month on the 30th with Venus also entering Aries. That shows that the priorities in the relationships are turning more independent and more selfish. So you're going from a lot of, this month choosing maturity and choosing like the boundaries of what you want. Now in the end of the month and as we get into May, it's going to be more about like, okay, now just do what you want. You already set the boundaries for maturity. Now do what you want independently. So if you have any thoughts about what's coming up for this April for the astrology, do let me know in a comment down below. There are so many changes. I really like the astrology of this April, even if there's so many things adjusting and switching directions. The tarot card that we have for this April for the energy that we can expect is the Three of Swords. So I actually have this tattooed, which I say every time I bring it up because it is my favorite card, and it usually comes up in preparation of a betrayal or a breach of contract or trust. So just be on the lookout of a breach of contract or trust that may be why your walls are now up for no more bullshit. Because this is a month of deciding no more bullshit. So you might have like the last straw where you're like, nope, my guard is up. I'm choosing maturity. So if you enjoyed this and you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you are doing all the things. Please like, please subscribe, please share, please do the things if you can, it helps. Hope that you enjoy this April, that it treats you well, and I will see you in the next one.